Moves to waive patents on COVID-19 vaccines are gaining support. Those behind the proposal say a waiver would boost global production and distribution, especially for poorer countries. The United States has thrown its weight behind that idea, and now the European Union says it is willing to discuss the proposal. Washington wants to pursue negotiations at the World Trade Organization, but drug makers argue it may not have the desired effect. The U.S. previously opposed the plan under the Trump administration. Simon Marks joins us live now. So, Simon, the U.S. supporting the patent waiver, why now?
Well, the Biden administration had just been coming under relentless pressure over the last few weeks. Democrats up on Capitol Hill, particularly those in the progressive wing of the party, had long insisted that the United States ought to be joining this move, led, the demands for it, by Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and South African President Cyril Ramaphosa, who for months have argued that you can't tackle COVID-19 as a national issue in terms of vaccines. There needs to be a global plan to get vaccines out there, particularly to countries in the developing world that continue to struggle to get their hands on any kind of reliable source of vaccine supply. But also those tragic images from India over the last couple of weeks or so have really caught the public imagination here in Washington, D.C. and around the country. And that also led to continuing questions for the Biden administration about whether they were going to back this quest for what is a temporary waiver to the patent rights that the drugs manufacturers enjoy over these COVID-19 vaccines. Not a permanent waiver, a temporary one. And so late last night, the new U.S. Trade Representative Catherine Tai announced that the White House had made its decision and that the U.S. was throwing its weight behind that initiative launched by the South Africans and the Indians, but now supported by more than 100 countries around the world.
But it seems like challenges remain. I mean, Washington has already cautioned that negotiations may take some time.
Yeah, no question about that. It's a World Trade Organization negotiation, and by definition, those move at a pretty glacial pace. And the European Union has indicated within the last few hours that it's thinking about echoing the stance taken by the United States. So that may help grease the wheels for the conversation that needs to occur at the WTO. But there's a second track that the Biden administration is planning to wander down, and that is separate from the waiver. It's America looking at the stocks that it has of COVID-19 vaccines and at some point in the next few weeks agreeing to release substantial quantities of vaccines to other countries because of flagging demand here in the United States. So the White House has got this very complicated calculation to make in the weeks and months ahead. At what point do they reach the conclusion that the country truly has more COVID-19 vaccine than it can ever use? And at what point do they start donating those vaccines to other countries through COVAX, for example, or through the kinds of humanitarian initiatives that it undertook with regard to India just a couple of weeks ago, releasing the raw materials for vaccines to be created in India? That's a tough political decision for Joe Biden to make, and now pressure's going to start rising on him to think about making it.